tracks. Bravely we prove in our striving, trudging together each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Oh, that was quick. Hi, Amber. You're like, I'm getting there quick this time. Ain't no screwing around. Click that link. Click that link. Oh. No, man. It's just one of those days I'm doing the best that I can. All right. ABC. Easy as 1, 2, 3. Baby, it's you and me. ABC. 1, 2, 3. You and me. Well, Jackson 5 for your drive home. Next up, we'll be spinning a few records for you today. Today's episode is how many songs can we get away with singing without our video getting cut? Na, na, na. You're just somebody that I used to know. Used to know. Mad. I'm just doing songs I've heard lately. And honestly, see, Madness came up because, see, right there. Oh, come in. Don't worry. See, Muse, Madness. Mad. Okay. Welcome. Daily Trudge. Welcome to Daily Trudge. I'm Dion. My name backwards is Noid. I don't know how many people will remember the Noid. There was a Domino's character for a little while, and it was called Avoid the Noid. If you're here, please say hello, whether you're watching live or the rewatch. We're going to be in the big book, page 62. Page 62. I'm not even sure that I need to really read it. Can you guys hear that when I do that? So let me know if you can hear it when I do that. I'm curious on whether you can hear me smacking my head against the microphone. All right. It gets pretty repetitive, so sometimes I get a little wore out on what we're talking about. Because a lot of times, at least for me, it just feels like I'm repeating myself a lot, but I am. Right. And do we already lose people? We're down to one already. They're like, I ain't gonna sit around and listen to you put your head against a microphone. What's wrong with you? There's a lot of things wrong with me. It's the first thing that's wrong with me. Well, selfishness and self-centeredness, that we think is the root of our troubles. They're being so kind here. It is the root of our troubles. And where does selfishness and self-centeredness come from? Fear. Comes from fear, baby. Fear, baby. Fear, baby. Fear, baby. Yeah. Well, yeah, Amber, you don't count on doing that one because you can't hear. Did you hear that? Kind of hurt my finger. So, all right. But anyway, that we think is the root of our trouble. Driven by 100 forms of fear, self-delusion, self-pity, I think, self-seeking and self-pity, we step on the toes of our fellows and they retaliate. Good afternoon, Christine. It's good to see you. Welcome. Did we talk about going live tomorrow? Are we doing live? And remind me of the time too. I can't remember if it's 11 or 1. We'll have to pick us a topic for tomorrow. So we step on the toes of our fellows and they retaliate. Sometimes they hurt us seemingly without provocation, but invariably we find at some point in the past we have made decisions based on self, which later places us in a position to be hurt. Amber says, yeah, like fucking bird sounds. I can hear some, but certain tones, no. Show that rock and roll you punks listen to. You and your heavy metal. Still 11? All right, 11 o'clock, you got it. All right. So my troubles are basically of my own making. We're going to, that's the next line. All right. My troubles are of my own making. I created them, especially when I was drinking. Oh man, boy, did I love causing trouble. I was king asshole, head asshole, and I was proud of it. I loved it when people called me precocious, crazy, insane. I'm like, I'll fucking show you crazy, right? And dancing, Amber says, dancing on dubstep speakers. Yeah, that'll do it. Yeah, now you can no longer hear ootsa, 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 ootsa. It's Led Zeppelin's fault. Got a whole lot of love. All right. So I found that I don't really get away with anything in this life. Things always seem to come back, and usually I can take it back to a point in my life where I had done something very selfish, right? Where I'd done something to somebody else, but the effect came back to me. We usually call this karma. Yeah, that's the word for it nowadays. It's karma. And you got to watch your karma, or your dogma is going to bite you in the ass. That is a Dion original. You may steal it if you so choose. I'm sure I stole it from somewhere else. Actually, I'm pretty sure I came up with it, but I doubt I was the first one to ever say it. So, not really a Dion original, but I don't know who to give credit to. So our troubles we think are basically of our own making. They arise out of the self, and the alcoholic is an extreme example of self-will run riot. Here's the kicker, though he usually doesn't think so. Our denial is so deep rooted. Oh, my drinking isn't hurting anybody. I'm sitting in my room alone, listening to my music. I'm not bothering anyone. I'm not doing anything. How can I be hurting anybody? While your children are standing outside your door wanting to throw the ball or needing help with their homework, or maybe it's time to make dinner, or maybe they need a bath. Maybe they need some kind of attention. Not all abuse is physical. Most of it is mental and emotional, and people can get hurt just as bad, if not worse, from emotional and mental abuse, especially when it's long term. So living with an alcoholic is bound to drive anybody neurotic. It's kind of a fucked up disease, man. Addiction it's a messed up disease. I don't understand it all. I don't know why I was that way, but I do feel like I was born that way, you know? So often I say I came out of the womb playing three-card monte, man. I've always been a shyster. I've always been a manipulator. I didn't know it though, because I didn't know any other way. And it's not like they teach you that in school. You know, as far as I could go would be Mr. Rogers. Mr. Rogers taught me a lot of good morals, like treat people right and things like that. But what he couldn't do is say, Dion, I understand that you're 5 years old, but you have alcoholic tendencies, man, and you're lying, Dave. Every time you open your mouth, you're lying. You know, the denial is so deep rooted. And as an alcoholic, I need to get rid of my selfishness, or I need to at least convert my selfishness to good use, to constructive use. Right? I'm still a very selfish person, but now my selfishness is different. It's a different type of selfish. Right? So above alcohol, above everything, we alcoholics must be rid of the selfishness. We must, or it kills us. God makes it possible. Hi, Angel. Good to see you. You're lucky you weren't here earlier. I was running everybody off with my horrible singing. Actually, I'm not that bad of a singer. Actually, I'm a pretty good singer. I'm a better backup singer than I am like a lead singer, though, because my normal singing voice sucks, but I'm very good at mimicking things. It's part of my stemming. Very good at harmonizing. But I need something to lead me in that. Or I can't seem to do it myself. So anyway. All right. So God makes, and there often seems no way entirely getting rid of self without his aid. Now, what we're really trying to get to here is just a different set of standards, a different set of morals. The ones that I was following was not working. Even when it seemed like my intentions were good, they were not. They were selfish. They were based on what other people could do for me, not what I could pack into the world, into life. Okay. Now the question needs to be the really only true question for an alcoholic is this: what am I doing today to make my community, this little patch of world that I live in, a better place? It's the only real question I need to ask myself each day. What am I doing to contribute back to society since I decided to, waste the police department's times with my shenanigans, the fire department, emergency trips, doctors, lawyers, all these people where I wasted their time because I just wanted to screw around, because I wanted to drink alcohol, because I wanted to do what I wanted to do. How much of that am I going to waste? Okay. Many of us had moral and philosophical convictions galore, but we could not live up to them even though we would have liked to. Not only that, but they were, yeah, I made those things beyond my reach on purpose. We all did. We're alcoholics. The only thing that we're ever doing, even good, bad, or different, doesn't matter. We're going to make it so it turns out bad. So we have an excuse to drink. That's the whole point. That's what we're talking about here. Setting ourselves up for excuses to drink. Kind of different, right? Now, what do? Now we can use that same selfishness to set ourselves up for sobriety, for recovery, for a better life. We can change it, right? This isn't going to happen overnight. No. Some things might. Seems like when our intentions change, you know, I've run this by a lot of people in the field that alcoholics, we don't get sober of our own accord. We don't wake up one day and say I'm going to AA. Well, maybe after a little bit, but that's not how it starts. That is not how it starts. Angel says, me too, natural backup singer, had to work hard to be a good lead. And you do a great job of it. I think you're a great lead singer, Angel. All right. So I had a lot of convictions galore, but I couldn't live up to them. There's no way that I could. I would put expectations on you and everybody else that you could not live up to so that you would fail. And gosh, what a great reason to drink. If somebody died, oh, it's even better. I don't even have to say nothing. And it's still an excuse. Use it the way I feel about it now. Using somebody else's death to drink is probably the worst way that I could actually remember them. That isn't what they would have wanted for me. Unless they were an alcoholic like me, still drinking. No. Neither could we reduce our self centeredness much by wishing or trying on our own power We had to have God's help. We had to have God's help. Right? Oh. And there often seems no way of entirely getting rid of self without his aid. That's been my experience anyway. You know? I think I used up all my energy. It's nap time again. I already took a 40-minute nap. Maybe it was the wrong amount. I don't know. So this is the how and why, but first of all, we had to quit playing God. It didn't work. That's the first requirement. How am I gonna? I can't play God and believe in God, in a God at the same time, right? And we could even put this kind of in a different term. I had to stop bossing everybody around. I had to stop putting these unreasonable expectations on people. Right? I do believe that there are reasonable expectations. Yes, there is. If the trash is full, take it out. And when you come back in, put a bag back in. If you use the last of the toilet paper, remove it and put it on over, not under, over. Right? If I do the dishes, I don't need my wife clapping and cheering me that I did the dishes. It is a reasonable expectation. But I didn't live within reasonable expectations. I lived in unreasonable expectations. First of all, we had to quit playing God. It didn't work. I wasn't very good. That job sucked. That job sucked. The pay sucks because the pay is zero and nobody listens to anything I told them to do. And they're ungrateful for my unsolicited advice, man. What the hell? What, they don't like being told what to do either? Yeah. Yeah. God was going to be our director. He is the principal. We are his agents. He is the father, and we are his children. Most good ideas are simple, and this concept was the keystone of the new and triumphant arc through which we pass to freedom. This is an arc that you are building yourself. Third step is the keystone. This is what we're talking about here is step 3. Okay. Now, a keystone is at the top of an arc. Without the keystone, the whole thing falls apart. So that is why step 3 is the keystone, because it creates the arc through which you are going to walk a free person. It's a metaphor. It's a metaphor for freedom. Okay. You're not going to have an actual arc. There's not going to be any Raiders of the Lost Ark. There's not going to be a Noah's Ark. The arc describes a lot of different things. So now we're getting to what we call the third step promises. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the pronouns. This I did steal from somebody, and I even remember who I stole it from. It was a friend of mine. It was a friend of mine. Well, I can't say his name. He was in a meeting, and he stole it from someone else who stole it from someone else who stole it from someone else. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the pronouns. And you should give this a try, especially if you're newer. Maybe you're going through the third step for the first time. Why would I change the pronouns? Because it turns it in from statement, it turns it from like a question statement-y kind of thing to a fact. It changes it to a fact. And then what you're going to do is you're going to use your intuition. It's going to tell you whether you're right or wrong. and it's going to tell you what you could do is you can mark your progress through the promises. All right? So let's give it a try. When I sincerely took such a position, all sorts of remarkable things followed. I had a new employer. Being all powerful, he provided what I needed if I kept close to him and performed his work well. Is that happening? Yes, it is. Established on such a footing, I became less and less interested in in myself, my little plans and designs. Huh. Am I doing that? Do I have more humility? I do. Humility is not thinking less of yourself, but thinking about yourself less. Right? So I'm becoming less and less interested in my plans and designs because all my plans and designs got me drunk. Got me drunk. Yeah. More and more, I became interested in seeing what I could contribute to life. Yeah, I'm doing that. As I felt new power flow in, pink cloud. It's probably going to be your pink cloud. I didn't get a pink cloud this time around, right? Because a pink cloud is experiencing new happiness, and I already went through that. You can't experience something new twice. Unless you have dementia, then you can experience things over and over and over again. Or loss of memory. That'll do it too. I know it's funny, but it's true. You know, there's some stuff that I watch when, I don't tend like when I got sober, I had a whole new set of TV shows and movies to watch because while I was drinking, I hadn't retained that shit. So it was like watching the movie for the first time, right? As I felt new power flow in, as I enjoyed peace of mind. You're getting little flashes of maybe a little peace here and there, even if it's for a minute or two. That maybe something is happening, right? As I discovered I could face life successfully. Most of us, when we get here, we just don't want to even be on the earth anymore. It isn't necessarily even that we want ourselves dead as much as we just don't want to deal with the pain and the suffering that's going to be coming. Years of building this stuff up is hard to face all at once. All right. That's why the fourth step is divided into things so that you don't take on all your trauma at once. Fourth step is designed. It's designed a certain way for certain reasons. All right. As I discovered I could face life successfully, as I became conscious of his presence, I began to lose my fear of today, tomorrow, the hereafter. I was reborn. What is that fear today, tomorrow, hereafter? It's the what ifs. It's the whys. The whys are from the past. The what ifs are in the future. Right? I was reborn, but if we have 1 foot in yesterday and 1 foot in tomorrow, then I'm probably pissing all over today. And that is not going to do me much good now, is it? No, we've got to learn how to live in the moment. Right? We say a day at a time, but really, life is a moment at a time. Right? Today I've had so far I've had several moments, probably 30, 40 of them today. They're just little moments of these things that seem to come up during the day. And I'm going to have to make decisions on whether I'm going to whether I'm going to let it affect me, whether I need to say something. Maybe I need to do a little bit of confrontation. I think people need to start learning how to confront. Um, Yelling and screaming and name calling is not confronting, by the way. There's nothing wrong with confrontation as long as it's done the right way. There's a lot of people out there that they don't understand it. Like today, I've seen a lot of name calling, gaslighting, things like that, because somebody tried to put out the truth, and it never amazes me how much people feel the need to defend themselves. It's very selfish and self-centered, right? So I would say this before I leave, and I know I talk about a lot of different. If you're in the field of recovery and you're more concerned about what Trump is doing than the client, please get out. Please just get out. If you're more concerned about the money not coming in and that's what's freaking you out, then get out of the business because that's what we want. We want you out, and you're not going to get any more. No, he. You think this year's just going to be cut and then it's going to come back next year? You think that's what's going to happen? No, that's not what's going to happen. There'll be new rules and regulations in order for people to get that government money, right? It's just wasteful spending. So, all right, all right. Might as well finish it with something Dion's selfish about, right? All right. That's going to be it for this one. Otherwise, I'm just going to kind of beat it into the ground. And I might even be kind of a dick if I do that. So don't want to do that. All right. Meeting starts in 45 minutes for anybody that like to join us. Today's also our group conscience. Um, yeah. Amber, thanks earlier for listening to me. Right after that, I said that everybody started signing up. So I guess all I had to do was bitch a little to somebody else and 10 step at some. And then God's like, okay, you did that. There you go. Fucking God. Jeez. Always doing his own thing. God's so selfish and self centered. What's wrong with that guy? All right. I gotta go. I gotta go. Thank everybody for being here. I'll see some of you shortly. I love you. You know I do. Peace out.